All right. Welcome, everybody, to the next meeting of Barrels for Hope. I see a bunch of familiar names in chat already. Thanks, guys, for being here. Welcome to Lance.
What's up, everybody?
Josh.
How's it going, guys?
And Dusty Dan's with us, our board members here. So we want to keep this kind of short to respect everybody's time on their weekend. But we got a little bit of information to get out to you guys. We've got some business to do with some drawings and let you know how things are going to go forward. And then we want to open it up to your guys' questions. So before we get into saying hi to everybody in the chat and get into your questions, we've got some updates. Let's see. We have to talk about the short barrel. This is a question we've been getting a lot. Everybody wants to know what's happening with the short barrel. So anybody want to take it away with how we're doing with the short barrel? Or you want me to keep on rolling with it?
Well, I will say that when we started doing the pick, Joe, I'm going to give all credit to the president here, that we're all in there and excited to start the pick off. And Joe is like, by the way, we have 140 members. We have to make sure we get bottles to everyone. And then they were like, well, our barrels have been yielding, that's like a good yield for one of our barrels. We have been getting less barrels than that. So we started pitching ideas around with the crew there at Heaven Hill. And because of the charity endeavor and the efforts that we're all pitching in here, that, they were like, let's see what we can do for you guys. And so that's how it came about, through you guys in the chat, everybody watching this, us being a part of it, and then Heaven Hill respecting that and wanting to help make sure we're able to take care of everybody. So we don't know the yields yet, which I think is a super important thing to note, but we will find the yields out. And when we do, that will help really inform what we can do with the short barrel. But if the main barrel that we picked yields less than 144, then we will fill in the gap with the short barrel. If it yields more than 144, and it's pretty heavy, we're hoping it will, we think it will, then the short barrel will just be one of those things that, you guys can take it from there. But I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that how the short barrel came about is because of how awesome this group is and the support from everyone.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, the Heaven Hill said their normal barrels are yielding like 120 bottles. Now, Narav tells me from what did you say, Josh?
On average. So
on average,
some higher, some lower.
Narav was telling me, based on the proof of the barrel we picked, he thinks it'll be 160 from what his store's been getting. So hopefully somewhere in between there. But with that and the short barrel, we're going to have enough bottles for everybody for sure.
Yeah. So that's the big point, because I was really concerned with making sure we had enough. And by having the regular barrel and the short barrel, we have enough for everybody. So nobody has to be concerned about that. But just so everybody is very clear, if the original barrel does yield more than 140, everybody's going to get their bottle. Whatever the extra is going to go into the pool with the short barrel. And then there will be a link, and it'll be a first come, first serve for everybody to go and buy one of those bottles. So it'll be just like our barrel pick releases. So a lot of people are either with our whiskey side of the Patreon or Josh and Aaron's Stuff and Whiskey Patreon. You're familiar with how we do our releases. There's plenty of notice leading up to it. We'll say it'll go live at noon on Friday or noon on Saturday, Eastern, whatever it is. And that's when the link will be pushed out to everybody. You can follow the link, buy the bottle. Now, there's a couple of things to note, whether it's just the short barrel or some extra from the original and the short barrel. When this happens, it is a one bottle per person. Please respect that, because we have a lot of people that would like to get some of these other bottles as well. And if Narav sees an order come in for 2 or 3 or 4 bottles, that order is going to get canceled and you're going to lose your spot. So please respect the process. Please respect everybody trying to get one. It is going to be a limit of 1 bottle with that process. We'll have no problem selling through those, I'm sure, with the amount of people we have interested. The other thing is that Lance mentioned, and everyone needs to be aware of this, this only comes into play when you're buying your allocated bottle through the drawings from Narav, and for any extra bottles from our picks through Narav, is on Narav's credit card processing that they use. They will do $100 hold. So let's say the bottle is $70 and you go to buy it, you'll show a hold for $170, but once it processes, that $100 will be released and put back on your card. So we just want everyone to be aware of that up front. That's how their credit card processing works. And those of you who have already bought the allocated bottles from last month, maybe you found that out. But that's how that will go. Let's see. So the Bourbon Engineer asks, how about the extras go to patrons at the lower tier first, except for the one above the 144?
They will have a shot at it along with everyone.
They have the same shot of it that everybody else has. Everybody will get the link, and that is just difficult to manage the access to. We could push it out based on the Patreon tier, but for right now, it's just going to be open for everybody. And those people in the $5 tier have the exact same chance as the original to have it getting the bottle. It's being on it when the link drops and then buying it. So that's where we're going to go for right now, and see how that works in the beginning. And then, of course, if anybody's in the 144 group and they want to see someone from the $5 tier then just hold out and just don't buy it right away. You always have the option to do that as well. And then also, just for transparency, full disclosure, this is very unique how this happened by getting a second barrel here. So the people that were actually on the pick and pick this barrel will have an opportunity to get a bottle. They're still paying for it, but they're going to have an opportunity to get a bottle first, and then it's going to open everyone for the short barrel because they were there. They helped pick the bottle. So they are still paying for it, though. So that's the big news, kind of how we're going to handle the short barrel, how we're going to handle barrels that yield over the 144. We don't have the bottle yields yet for those barrels. We're still waiting on that, so we can't tell you that yet. But as soon as we do, we will make sure to put out a short or a regular video explaining what those are and when you can anticipate the release. So we also are looking at 15 weeks from the date of the pick to the date they anticipate having the bottles available for us. So there's a lot of groups out there. Some of you may already be in these groups where they're waiting. It's taking 8 to 10 to 12 months to get a pick. We're working with these distilleries. They know this is a charity organization. They're trying to get them out quicker, but just understand some of these, there is a lead time getting these bottles. We're still trying to keep it under 4 months. Some of the smaller distilleries we work with might be a little quicker, but just know the heritage ones are taking a little bit of time.
Yeah. And I think that's piggybacking on that. It's an important point to note that, when you start doing barrel picks, we're just starting this thing up all together here, and we're doing picks now, but then those have to go through the pipeline and get released. And so it is a process for sure. So some smaller distilleries may be able to turn things a little bit quicker, but that's what we've been quoted. We will see what we can do with that. But we're building the runway now. So things are kind of, the plane is slowly getting up to speed here, but then once this thing really takes off and the picks start rolling out that we're doing right now, things will be moving a little bit faster here in the very near future. Just wanted to let you guys know that, because it right now on our end, I know it kind of feels like we're slogging through sand, just trying to get things going. And you hit holdups in the barrel pick process sometimes.
So Jeffrey says also, do you know which platform the location will be posted? All of them that we use. So it'll be sent out through Patreon, and we'll do announcements on YouTube here, the channel, probably just a couple of shorts or whatever of leading up the date and time that will be released. But the link to purchase will be sent to you via Patreon through the messaging, which will come through your email. So And it'll be plenty of notice leading up to that. We'll try and it won't be a surprise for anybody. So
So make sure you guys check Patreon, because I know some of you don't have it on your phones or whatever, but because that's where the links will be posted. If we post it in Discord, there's a possibility that somebody dropped out of Patreon but is still in Discord and we want to make sure all our Patreon members are the ones getting access to those links.
Yeah, that's a good point. So we'll make notices on both Discord and YouTube of when it's going to be and getting ready for it, but the actual link to purchase will be pushed out through Patreon to make sure only our current members have access to it. So that's a great question, Jeffrey. We have a couple drawings to get through. I had one last announcement before, an update for you before we get to that, and that is on our 501c3 status. So I actually talked on the phone with the case manager who's handling our application this past week. They returned our initial application. We have to redo it. This is typical government here. We have to submit the application with the long form. So we use the abbreviated form because we're a new charity and we don't currently have any assets. But because we project over $50,000 in receipts, because we have to bring money in to pay for all these barrels, we have to reapply and do it the long form. Now, when I talked to her, she did indicate that she didn't see any reason why we're not going to get approved. We just have to have a different type of paperwork for the IRS. So if anybody's ever dealt with any government process, this should not surprise you. So we are still working on it. We will still continue to provide you updates. It does look very promising that we are going to get approved. We just have to submit more paperwork. So that's it for that. Anybody else? Do you guys have any other updates before we get to the drawings?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, I want to get to these drawings so we can get to questions that everybody has. So,
Sure.
Lance, you got this all keyed up. So we'll
do the allocation first. Yep. I think everybody got their orders in for the allocation last time. Again, thank you guys for being so patient with us as we work through this and try to make it a lot more synchronized as we get further into the process. I've talked to Narav. I'm going to try to have him just have links for you guys this next month so that I can just forward those to you in an email, and then you can just order your bottle instead of trying to contact him and him contacting you. It was a little bit difficult, but that's kind of where we're at. I think everybody's got theirs through. There may be a little delay on the shipping, and that's not Narav's fault. We have to get him shipping boxes, and so we've sent those to him. He's got all those. He's even got them for the next barrel pick. So we're good there. We got stickers. We're good there. The allocated picks this month, he's in a state right now where he's a little bit Heaven Hill heavy. So we're trying to get you guys Sazerac allocations and all that stuff. But for this month, we've got 2 Henry McKenna 10s, 3 Rebel 10s, 3 Elijah Craig barrel proof A123s, 4 Larceny barrel proof A123s, and then 2 early times bottled and bonds. So we'll get those emails to you. We'll do a randomizer here and pick the first 14. Again, if you don't want a bottle, you can reply pass and we'll take you off the list and go to the next one. Do you guys have anything to add to that?
No. So we're going to do the randomized list for the first 14, and then we'll document who's like the next 5 or 6 as a backup just in case somebody chooses to pass on a bottle. Now, remember, if you choose to pass, that's perfectly fine. You go to the bottom of the list again for waiting till everybody's had a chance. So just make sure everybody's aware. Same rules as last time. So, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry, bear with me. If you guys have questions, you can definitely start typing those in.
Yeah, start typing those in. David, I see your question. We'll get to that as soon as we get through these drawings, and we'll go back through and we'll get everybody's questions.
Okay, let's see here. All right, here's the first randomizer. This is for the 14 allocated. So there you go. If you want to take a screenshot, you can. All you guys, I will be reaching out to you. You guys have anything to add to that?
What are you looking at? Same thing I'm looking at here?
Oh, nope, it didn't. Hold on. Sorry.
I was going to say, didn't see it do anything here. There we go.
Sorry about that.
All good.
All right, cool.
All right, so there now everybody can see the first 14 got it. The next about 6 we'll keep on the list for backups. But congratulations to you, 14. You'll be getting notification from Lance.
Cool. And then the other randomizer we need to do is the hard truth pick. We had everybody, and then one had to drop out today. So now we have another opening for the hard truth pick. So let me.
And I think what we're going to do, so we don't have to, we can get to their questions. Let's just do one randomizer, and we'll pick like the first 3, let's say, as backups, potential backups for the hard truth. And then like the next 4 or 5 or whatever is going to be as backups for in case we have people that can't do the maker's pick. So this will get us backups for each of them.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to lock people in and make sure we know who's going to be there, make sure we can make the appropriate accommodations and everything.
There we go. Yeah, so Brad Key, I didn't see the name of if Brad, if you're watching, you are on the list as now going to the hard truth if you're available. If you're not available, then that'll of course be Mark, and then so on and so forth until we fill the hard truth pick, and then we'll have a backup list for the maker's pick.
And then if you guys, I saw one question come in. If you guys ever, are having a hard time getting a hold of Narav or didn't get a bottle and you're wondering where it is, you guys can always feel free to email me at lance@barrelsforhope.com or text me. I'm happy to give you guys my number as well. So
what are we going to, just a quick question, what are we going to do in place of, for instance, like if I'm not able to make the hard truth pick, are we going to have someone pop in place? Is that going to come off the list, or how is that going to work?
Well, that actually is a great question, Dan, and that brought up something that I think, Josh, I talked to you. I don't know if I talked to Lance about it, but there's a lot that has to go into making everything work. We're also looking at the potential of an in-person event next year. That's going to have a lot to go into it, and it's going to be more than I think maybe the 4 of us. We talked about in our bylaws, we do have other board officer positions, such as events manager, logistics manager, stuff like that. So we had talked about expanding the board of directors, maybe adding 1 or 2 people on. That will also expand the pool of people to make sure we always have board directors at each one of these picks, because we all have our own channel or Whiskey Society, a day job and stuff going on as well with this. None of us do this full time. So it's a great point to bring up. Anybody watching, if you are interested, you have the time, if you are interested, we will be accepting nominations or applications to help out with board members. Now, there will be some requirements that we'll filter through with that. And then at one point we will do basically an election to elect two more board members. So you can go on to the website, and I believe there is an email or contact us on the website, correct, Lance?
I
thought there was.
Well, there was. Well,
you know what? Why don't
now the Barrels for Hope just directs to Patreon. So
you know what? Can we add a channel to the Discord for board officer nominations? And then if you are interested and you think it's something you can do and you've got some time,
there you go.
You can just drop a note in there that you're interested. And then the current board will filter through those and see who might be a good fit and then set up. But that's a great question, Dan, because there are going to be times where we can't be there.
Yeah.
I hate to have a time where it doesn't, we have this great opportunity for this barrel pick and like 3 of us can't go or something.
Yeah.
So having a couple more people helping out wouldn't be bad. So to everybody, if you think you might be interested or you might want more information on what that might entail, drop your name into that channel once we get it created, and we'll be in contact with you.
Yep. So. Sounds good. I'll create that. I'll run the Discord, so I will create that channel as soon as we hop off here.
Perfect. All right. So that's good for the drawings, right? We did our allocated. We got our backups for the 2 picks. Perfect. Let's go through some questions now. So let's see.
So I will say, in response to Jeffrey Hensley's question about the platform that notifications for any additional releases will be posted on, we covered that that's Patreon. Michael Ackley asked if shouldn't it go out in email, and it should if you have your email notifications set up for when posts are made on Patreon, you receive email notification for that. If you don't, or if they happen to go to your spam folder or something like that, please check all of those things. So if you look on Patreon, you see a post there, but you didn't get an email with that same information, that's going to be on your email settings side of the equation, and make sure you go in and adjust things as you need to so that you're getting correspondence from us.
Yeah. And then the Bourbon Engineer has another one here. Purchase are for extras above 144. The first 44 correct go to the membership. That is correct. Everybody who is in the regular membership, you are guaranteed a bottle from every pick. So you will get that. Only anything that yields above that will go available for purchase. And then David had a question for Lance. Lance, do you see that one?
I asked him to just text me, and we'll get it taken care of.
Perfect.
I think I know what he's talking about, but yeah, just shoot me that text, and I'll handle it for you today, David.
Equal opportunity guns here. I'm assuming you are one of them that got the allocated drawing. Yeah, so the way it works is the first person gets their choice of any of them on there, and then the second next until we've made it all the way through. And that's just how the randomization works on it. And that's how you'll be able to select. So if you were one of the top 5, yeah, you pretty much have your pick of anything that you want on there, unless everybody wants the Rebel 10, because that's what I want.
That's what I would want. Yeah. I will say it does bring up a good question. You know, based on the proof, as Lance has said, and the expected yields, we expect the barrel that we pick, the main barrel at Elijah Craig, to be above what we need. And then we expect the short barrel to be very short. Like I could lift the entire barrel with one finger. Yeah. If it gets 50 bottles, we're doing well. So,
hopefully they put it in a tote quick.
Yeah. There won't be any picking there. Like the barrel that we picked is the barrel that we picked. The short barrel is the one that's just bonus for all of us, and it will be first come, first serve. So just wanted to clear that up in case somebody's like, I don't want the main barrel, I want the short barrel. That one's going to be, that's just icing on the cake.
So the Bourbon Engineer says, anyone know a winner for the SAS drawing? I don't know anybody that won. I didn't. If anybody is in our group, then you did win, and you're figuring out how you're going to pay for a barrel, you can facilitate. I'm sure everybody will be fine facilitating it through us. So
we might know some people. They could help you out.
Yeah, reach out to us if you did and you don't know how you're going to pay for the barrel.
Have your people call our people.
That's right. So Terry says, how will it be determined who doesn't get the barrel pick bottle if it's under 140? Will it be a randomizer? So that's a great question. We haven't exactly talked about that. We would probably first ask for, let's say it only yielded 134 and we were 10 short. We would probably ask first for volunteers of who is okay with taking a short barrel bottle, is probably how I would do it. I don't know that I'd want to run a randomizer for that. I don't really think we would need to. I think we could probably just do a post and say, hey, the first 10 volunteers to not get the original barrel to get the short barrel. And then that's probably how we would work it.
Yeah, but like we did on the Heaven Hill barrel, we're up front with them and saying, don't give us a barrel isn't gonna. It's not always possible. There may, it may more evaporate. We may not get that, but we're very clear up front that we don't want a barrel that isn't going to yield 140 bottles.
Yeah, and at least what we're looking at for the future schedule, I don't think we're going to have to run into an issue with that.
Yeah,
it's just starting the ECBP was just, it's already a 12-year-old barrel proof, so I don't feel that we're going to have any issues with that with anything that we're targeting going forward.
Yeah, it's also, if you guys saw the photo in Discord, the short barrel is like 130 something proof, and like I said, any one of us could just lift the whole barrel with one finger. Whereas the barrel that we picked, you're not budging that thing. And we wiped the whiskey thief and we dipped it in there and we looked at where it came up, and there is quite a bit of bourbon in that barrel. So
yeah, I
unless something crazy happens,
I don't anticipate any issues. But
yeah.
Any other questions? Anything going on that you guys really want to know about? something that we need to keep you more on update with. We talked about it as a group in our board meeting. Couple of things we still need to provide you guys is access to all our documents. So I will be creating a Google account. We are going to have a Google Drive with the link available to everybody in the Discord that is part of our Patreon. That is going to give you access to our articles of incorporation, our bylaws, and all of our meeting minutes. So we're going to post our meeting minutes there. Our goal is not to hide anything or make anything mysterious for you guys. So we're still in the process of getting, like Josh said, getting all this up and running into the way that makes sense. So be looking for that to come soon within the next couple of weeks. We got to get the Google set up, get the Drive set up, making sure we're caught up on our meeting minutes. We've got all our documents together, and we'll put them there for any of the nerds out there who want to check that stuff out. But we did talk about it in our meeting, and also looking forward what you can expect for us for content, because we want to keep you all engaged. Is for each pick that we do, we're going to release a produced video on the YouTube channel about the pick, just like Lance put together for our ECB pick, which I thought was a great video. If you haven't checked it out, you need to go check that out. The other thing we're going to do is this will be once a month, right at the end of the month, beginning of the month time frame, give or take a few days, where we're going to do this. We're going to have a live stream. We're going to answer questions. We're going to give you updates, and we're going to do the drawings for the month coming forward. And then once everybody has all the bottles from each of our picks, we're going to do a community celebration live stream. We can all crack a bottle together, get on here, talk, chat, and enjoy what we've got going on. So you can look forward to that.
I cannot wait for those. That's going to be a blast.
Yes.
Those are going to be fun.
So we got a couple of people saying, they'd like to help out. Again, once we're done, Josh will create a channel in the Discord where you can mark yourself as interested in wanting to help out as a potential board member. So make sure you go there. That's where we're going to go to find out who's interested and start sorting through stuff.
Yeah, pick updates. The only
Lance, is that a singing fish on your wall? People are
that,
asking. It looks like a regular stuffed one, not the singing.
That is not a singing fish. That's that's a fish my dad caught years ago, and my dad passed away, so I always have that hanging on my wall. So yeah, we used to fish all the time together, so that's why that's back there.
So
it's the only animal my wife will allow me to hang on a wall in my house. So except she will let me hang deer at Christmas, but that's it.
So, a couple more things here to hit. Don is asking, are we keeping a calendar posted anywhere? And then any new pick updates from Jeffrey. So I don't think we have a calendar anywhere. That's a great idea. We need to put one together.
Good idea.
We'll work on that. And then pick updates. Of course, Hard Truth is set in stone. That is good. Makers is almost solidified. We're still waiting on the confirmation of that. And then we have requests into Narab and the distributors for our next few picks. You guys,
we'll probably be having a call with Nick of Found North soon. He wants to have a call with us. So,
yep. So we're definitely looking at Found North. We're definitely looking at what are some of the other picks that we requested from Narab specifically. I don't have the notes.
Was it a 1792?
No, I don't know that we.
No.
Their turn time is crazy long right now.
Yeah.
It's like it's pushing over a year.
No, there were some really good ones that we were excited about.
I think we were. Austin Still was one.
Yeah, Austin Still. Or still Austin. That'll be in the meeting.
Glad I don't run a YouTube
we
channel.
Get those posted. I'd have to look back at our meeting minutes. We listed out, but there, guys, we're of course
we're working on that.
Oh, 4-gate. So 4-gate we're working. So of course we're trying to get the big hitters, right? The ECBP, Sazerac products, that kind of stuff. But we're really excited about some of these things like Found North, like Still Austin, 4-gate. Some of these things that are
Hard Truth
too. freaking amazing bottles that people are, don't have access to, have limited access to, are going for. I mean, some of these 4-gate stuff are going for $300-400,
Yeah.
right? Like we want to get some really cool stuff that other people aren't getting, and this platform with the charity is helping us opening the doors to some of those.
Yeah, there is on my end, there is something, and I think you three know. I'll contact someone and see if there's any way we can maybe finagle that.
Oh yeah, there might be a place out in Maryland that people really like. I don't know.
Yeah, that too.
I was thinking about the other thing. We got some exciting stuff we're working on. We got some exciting stuff we're working on.
We got some stuff we're working for you guys.
We don't want to say anything too early. We would rather stuff be set in stone, but just want to let you guys know that. I mean, this is the way I always look at things, right? Like, we four are part of the behind the scenes that is running this, and there's a lot of stuff that gets talked about. But I always try to put into perspective from you guys' standpoint is if you're going to be a part of this, you want to be able to be excited about it. So if I feel like we're excited about it, it's stuff that you guys can get excited about as well. And that's always the barometer. We want to be able to pick things that we're excited about. We're never just going to like take a pick just to get a pick. We want to make sure we're locking in on things that are going to be really cool for y'all.
Yep. And a couple of more like Earl. Thanks, Earl. Appreciate that, buddy. Everybody here, we really believe in what we're doing here. We really want to do well to help take care of you guys and support our charities. So thank you again for all the support.
Oh, those are interesting recommendations right there.
Yeah.
And by the way, I will say, we four, the ideas that we have together and the way that we're able to play off each other kind of behind the scenes really helps a lot to make this what it is. But that only got the ball started, and then you guys are the ones that got the ball rolling. So we want to hear your feedback. We want to hear your questions. If there are picks you guys are interested in, we want to hear about those as well. All that stuff. Like, there's questions that got asked tonight that just didn't occur to us, like having a visible calendar where people could track what's going on. So every little bit of input you guys can give us helps us to get things going in the background and start implementing some of what you want to see.
Yep. So I think a couple of ways we can track that. We can start creating events on the Discord, so you'll see when these things are happening. We can also integrate our Google Calendar with the Google account that I'm creating for the drive, and have that populate on the website too. So there's a couple different things. We always want to make sure you have all the information you guys need. So, and that's why we're going to be doing these monthly live streams on the regular, doing the drawing for going on the pick and allocated bottles, and providing you guys the Q&A. So
Frey Ranch would be another good one.
Yeah.
Fry Ranch, however you want to say it.
Frey. Frey.
I think they say Fry, actually, isn't it? Don't they?
I don't know.
I'll find out soon.
But we're not forgetting some of these other ones here. A couple of people have put Jack Daniel's barrel proof, the rye and the regular. I'll tell you what.
If we could, better believe we will.
Yeah.
So
Illinois' allocation of those have been really sparse lately.
That is what is important to realize, because just like distribution, right? Like, we have in part of the distributed or the allocated bottles list this month, there may be bottles like that hit your market that sit on shelves, but they aren't even available in other markets, or you have to have a hookup. Like, I have to have a hookup. ECBP's got to come from a back room where I'm at, but we're flooded with early times, but then other markets, nobody can get early times. So it's all based on where you're at. So some people will have access, other people won't. We hope to be able, through the reach of this group, that we can make things available to people who otherwise wouldn't be able to get them. And then, as we said at the top of the live stream, the allocations are going to vary, and it's the end of March going into April. Like, it's not heavy allocation season right now. So that's just kind of the odds if you get drawn now versus later, what bottles are available. So hopefully, as this thing again continues to go over time, we all get to do a lot of cool stuff together, more cool picks, more cool allocated bottles. It's just going to build on itself over time.
before I get to Terry there, real quick, kind of what Josh was saying is remember, once you get drawn for the allocated, whether you take the bottle or not, you go back to the back of the list. But once we've been through everybody, you're back in there again, which means in that end of August to January season, depending on how we're going, we could go through that list pretty quick. So you'll be through the rotation. Everybody will get a chance at good stuff. And then Terry said, when will the first charity check be given away? End of the year earlier. So Terry, great question. Our intent is what we're initially starting to look at, that end of year in-person event we were talking about. Our intent is to have an opportunity for all of our members to come together for an end of year celebration of a great year and a great job and great picks. And then also to invite representatives from the distilleries that we did picks at, and then also representatives from our 4 charities. And then at that event, do the check presentations to them. So this is the very beginning stage of our discussions of this, but we know we have to start making these kind of things a year out in advance. It's my goal to no later than 6 months in advance have our actual location narrowed down, reserved, how we're going to do hotels, travel for everybody, all that kind of stuff, so that everybody knows well in advance. Plus, for these locations that we want to go to, you got to plan out that way or you're just not going to get anywhere. So we're starting that discussion now. By mid to late summer, we should have a definite plan solidified that everybody can do proper vacation planning and all that kind of stuff. But check presentation as of right now will be at that live event. So great questions. Far as I know, Lance, do you have any essay on that? Far as I know, we're
actually at like 151 because of the $5 tiers, but the $65 tiers are still sold out. So nobody's dropped off.
And that's something to keep an eye on if you are in the $5 tier. Just periodically check to see if anything opens up. I can see that Joe just saw the Bourbon Engineers comment, which had me cracking up earlier.
That's Brian, right?
Yeah.
Brian, buddy.
Now Joe, I think he is talking about the barrel aged Malort, not just the regular. So it's fancy Malort.
The fancy Malort. Wow.
Proper Malort for drinking with your pinky out.
I'll let you guys know if Narav tells me there's a barrel of Malort, I will never let these guys know that it exists.
Brian, your generosity is just astounding.
We will protect you from that evil in the world.
Okay, so we're coming up on 40 minutes. We wanted to keep this around that 30 to 45 minute mark. So if anybody else has any last questions of stuff that we need to get out to you, please type it in now. Otherwise, we're going to be cutting this off and wishing everybody a great rest of their weekend. So anything else left you guys needed to add?
Nope. We appreciate you guys. Love you guys very much. Thanks for being a part of this and sticking around. Like I said, it would not be fun if all of a sudden we went down to 130 members. So, but we thought you guys would want to stick around for this. We thought we were bringing you some value. So.
Yeah. Josh, you were going to say something before I get to Terry's question here.
Yeah, I was just going to say that you were talking about the in-person event year end. I want to be clear on that because you're talking about, again, we need runway, right? So as runway builds up, we're laying the groundwork now. Things are really going to start happening this summer when picks start getting delivered, allocations start ramping up near the end of the year and all that stuff. So we're looking at, just to make it easy, a lot of us have families. It's easier to do things in the summer. So we're looking at next summer for that event. We don't yet have a month decided, but you can kind of expect that June, July timeframe, ballparkish. And then we are incorporated in the state of Ohio, and that's how we can have a liquor license and all that stuff. So location-wise, we are looking for something in the Ohio region, likely close to Kentucky. We've talked about some cities that are kind of near there. I don't know if Joe, you want to go any further with that or not, but
no, we're looking at the Cincinnati area. It'll be in and around there somewhere. That is to the bourbon region. What makes sense? Mostly Cincinnati's an easy city to get in and out of. So Michael, to answer your question, it's not end of calendar year. It's going to be end of our operational year. So we're looking at, we just did our first pick. We haven't even gotten our first bottle released yet. So it'll be like 13 or 14 months from now. So end of like our beginning of our true operation, which is in the springtime. So yeah, expect June or July of 24. And then that will be kind of the schedule that we'll continue with. School's out. It's less hassle with kids potentially. You don't have to mess with their school schedules if that affects you. June to July timeframe is not peak like bourbon activity season, so we'll have better access to distilleries and doing stuff and people. So that's what we're looking at. And to be honest, the Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky timeframe in June and July is pretty nice. So, and then Terry said, "Did we taste the short barrel?" Oh yes, we did.
Terry, you got to watch some of the YouTube videos, man.
Oh yes, you got to watch the pick video because it was.
Yeah.
It did not disappoint. They're both phenomenal. They're both great.
They're both very good, just different. They did send us home with little like 200 ml samplers of each one of the four of us. And I was leaving there to go right back to Nashville for Whiskey Weekend Batch 5 that the podcast put on. And it was like, the way that event works is it's like, basically just like a big hangout, bottle share late in the evening, some events during the day. But, we were there for the bottle share. And so as the kind of the crowd like had whittled down and stuff, I brought those two out and just let some people try them. And the reception to both was great. Everybody that got to try both of them agreed that they're both phenomenal picks. It's just, which do you prefer? That short barrel is really oaky, a little drying, but very concentrated, and it's higher proof. Whereas the other one, I think it drinks 100. It's 118 proof. It drinks its proof, but it has a lot of flavor for that proof point. But they just, I wouldn't say one is any better than the other. I could see the short barrel being kind of polarizing if you're not a fan of that heavy oak note.
I will say that barrel, it was a little over 10 years old. So it's a 10-year-old barrel. Okay. Everybody hear me. It is a 10-year-old barrel. However, the experience to me and how it drank was like a sweeter version of an Elijah Craig 18. It is not 18.
At barrel proof.
Yeah.
At barrel proof.
Yeah.
So like sweeter version of Elijah Craig. So if you like that flavor profile of that sweet, really heavy oak, that's going to be in your wheelhouse because that was in my wheelhouse.
Yep.
So let's see, Gary, 8-hour car ride, man. That's nothing. That's easy. That's no problem. You drive
Piece
right
of
up.
cake.
Piece of cake. All right, so
we'll make it worth your while.
Yeah, so I think it looks like that's pretty much it for the questions. We're just under 45 minutes now, so I want to say again, thank you to everyone for your support. I'm looking forward to the rest of this operational year, getting all our picks out to you, starting to have some of those celebration live streams where we can all crack a bottle together and doing some really fun stuff. So thanks.
Yeah, we're just getting started, guys. Thank you all so much for being a part.
Yep.
Right.
Thanks, everybody. You good, Dusty? You need to say anything?
I'm good, man.
All right.
All good here.
All right.
All right.
All right. We love you guys.
Cheers, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Cheers, all.
Cheers, guys.